Hey y'all, I wanted to jump on and talk about something really important. It goes along with what I'm doing with Unique this month, and it's just something I wanted to share that I haven't really shared. It's no huge deal, but at the time it was. But it's just something that happened to me when I was younger, and seeing as how so many girls and boys are being snatched up off the streets. It just seems like a timely story to share. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and let you guys know that back in, it was a long time ago. I was around 12 years old, and we were in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, and they were, the 7-Eleven was running a special on big gulps. They were doing like big gulps, two big gulps for 99 cents or something like that. And we would, me and my younger brother and sister would run to the store, get candy, now and later, Chico sticks, blow pops, whatever. We were always back and forth. And my mom, she was like, "Ooh, I would love a big gulp." She drank Coca-Cola and stuff like that. So for whatever reason, I think my brother and sister were either at the park or somewhere. They weren't around at the time. So I begged my mom. I was like, "I can go, I can do it, I can run really fast." It was about a quarter of a mile away from our house. And I begged her first. She was like, "No, I don't want you to go by yourself. It's dangerous, whatever." But I begged her and I convinced her that I would be really fast and nothing would happen. So on my way, I ran most of the way, and then I got, about not even 100 yards away. I stopped and I was walking the rest of the way, and I passed a man. He was walking by himself. He looked like he was kind of in church clothes, and because I remember he had on like loafers. So he spoke. He said hello, and I said hey, and I went across the street to the 7-Eleven. So I got the big gulps, and I was coming back across the street, coming back across kind of like the highway. It wasn't a highway, but it was a heavy traffic street. And I saw the man that I had originally passed, and he was walking toward me, and we passed, and he didn't say anything. We kind of passed each other. He didn't say anything, but he slowed down, stopped, and turned around and watched me as I walked. And so I kept looking back at him like, why is he stopping and why is he watching me? And at that point, I knew that he was going to try something. I knew it, and I think he was trying to gauge, where to take me, how fast I could run, who was around in the area. And there was no one around. It was a Sunday evening. It was like, maybe 6:30 in the evening, going on 7 o'clock. So the sun was setting, but it had not fully set. So I remember there being a Hardee's sort of to my left, and I walked over to Hardee's. There were no cars in the parking lot except one. I walked over to Hardee's and I checked the door, tried to go in, and it was locked. And I looked back over at the guy, and he's still watching me, and it even looked like he was about to cross the street. And I really started panicking inside. I don't know that you could see anything on the outside, but at that point, I heard the one car that was in the parking lot. It was a little blue, looked like maybe a Chevette or something like that, or I don't know, something really small. but it was a blue Chevy or Chevette or something like that. And I remember hearing its engine, and I looked and I was like, oh my God, there's a lady. She rolls down her window and is like, little girl, I see what's happening. I don't think that you should walk home. I see that man, and I'm afraid that something is going to happen. So I'm looking at her like, what do I do? And I told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I don't know you. I can't get in your car. And she said, listen, I don't think that it's safe for you to walk home. I'm the manager here at Hardee's. I normally don't even work this late. But when I was getting in my car, I saw you walk to 7-Eleven and I saw that guy pass. And I just waited. And when she said that, I knew that she was there to help me get home. And she said that, he's standing over there. I just can't let you walk home. You're gonna have to trust me. And I got in that car, honey, and she took me home. I don't know what would have happened had I not gotten in that car, or better yet, had she not been there working late that day. I don't know what that man would have done to me, and if I would have been alive today to tell a story. So, long story short, she took me home. And of course, when I get home, my mom and whoever else was at our house was sitting on the front porch looking like, who is this white lady dropping off my daughter, And the lady got out of the car and explained to my mom what happened, and my mom thanked her, and and she was like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have let you go. I knew I shouldn't have let you go. But who thinks about something happening that quickly, that close to home, And I guess my message today is you have to protect your kids. You have to know where they are at all times. And although kids are snatched and abused by strangers, most of the time it's done by somebody that the family knows. Most of the time it is not a stranger to the child. So I want to say, dear white lady, thank you so much. Thank you so much for working late. Thank you so much for peeping the scene and seeing that something wasn't right with that man. Having the courage and the fortitude to stop or interject yourself into something that you saw was wrong, to convince me, to persuade me to get in that car with you, because normally I would not have done that. And if that was you, if you're watching this and that was you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I also want to thank God, because when I look back at different scenarios in my life and different things that have happened, I know for sure that I have been protected by the Almighty, by a higher being, because there have been too many instances where the what if could have happened and I wouldn't be around to tell a story. So, as kids are going to school, going back to school this year, if they have to catch the bus, go wait at the bus stop, maybe go with your kids, especially if they're, not in high school yet, or if they're young high schoolers, like a small, how some ninth graders are really small still. If they're that type of kid, timid, and maybe stick to them a little bit closer until they grow and get stronger mentally and physically, because there are so many people out here who prey on children, who watch them, who watch them and track their daily routines, You know, I'm not saying for anybody to live in fear. I'm just saying be cognizant of, of who lives around you, who your kids are talking to, who they hang out with, and where they go, because you just never know. You never know who's laying in wait for your child. So, thank you, White Lady, and thank you, God.